friends, how's it going? This is Joy, and this channel is called Fourthot. So today's reading is kind of a spur of the moment inspiration, where we're looking at the question of what inner childhood wounds and am I healing? It feels like this collective is going, well, I know I'm personally going through a lot of healing right now, with my 12th house being highlighted. So I just like to connect with others and help bring clarity to those who kind of need a little bit more understanding of why they might be feeling so tired right now, what kind of wounds are being healed right now, what more inner trauma is being resolved, things like that. I just wanted to do a reading out there for anyone that need kind of that clarity, guidance, support at this time. Yeah. All right, so we have 4 piles for you today. We have pile 1 with this epiphyllite, pile 2 with this green calcite, pile 3 with this green aventurine, and then pile 4 with this healerite. Anyways, yeah, so timestamps will be linked down below as per usual, and I'll see you at your pile. Hi pile 1, if you've chosen the epiphyllite, then this is your reading. This is gorgeous epiphyllite. Again, I have to go back to my old place to get this slab of stone so things can be a little bit more visible, because this lighting is really throwing me off, you know? Alright, so the epiphyllite is a natural clarity and purification of the mind, heart, and soul. And today we're looking at the question of what hidden childhood wounds are we healing? And so this is definitely one for those who are seeking more truth, more growth, those who kind of are attracted to like angels, angel numbers. Angels are supposedly attracted to this stone as well. The stone is great for having a good awareness for your mind, heart, and the higher realms. So yeah, your angels definitely want to be with you at this time as you're moving through any of your childhood wounds right now. So yeah, let's get started. Let's get some thematic cards from this Chakra Wisdom Oracle card in regards to what childhood wounds is my pile number 1's healing. Also, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you are subscribed. You are, in fact, a hottie. What I like to call people who come to my channel. Even if you're not subscribed, you're still a hottie. But regardless, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Wow. Yeah, this is a beautiful fucking spread already. So far we have the cards of quest, discovery, creation, and prayer. This definitely is very aligned with the epiphyllite stone. I don't know if it's being visible. I don't think it's being visible there. So I'm just gonna keep it down here because it seems to be more visible here. This is definitely one of self-discovery. This is definitely a pile in which you're kind of going through the coming of age kind of storyline, and I love that for you. Usually with the coming of age, it's a chance for a character to just kind of explore who they are and feel more at home, more at peace in their own body. And it definitely feels like you're someone who is balancing a lot of your past and what you thought your future might be, and kind of reimagining what it could be in the present. So you might be doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of meditations, and you might be diving deep into your art and new things about you. Usually there's a story wheel in which the protagonist goes through the quest and finds something more about themselves. And it feels like for you, this whole quest has been brought about because of something that you lost. I'm being really drawn to this little like dragon ornament, and the fact that it's missing one of its limbs. And so to me, it feels like it's signaling that you lost something that was integral for you, and you're on the quest of getting back there. And your childhood wounds are one ways in which you kind of come back to yourself, come back to what it is that you want in life, what you desire, what you feel like you have a meaning towards. And this time in your life is very much about discovering and creating, and definitely one where you are getting back into your spirituality. You might have been atheist before, you might have not believed in anything at all, or you might have switched religions, or you might have done something where you were religious and became spiritual, or the opposite, where you were spiritual and then became religious. Either way, this definitely feels like someone who is reinvigorating their soul and coming back to their own and feeling whole again. That's how the story feels like. And it didn't feel like that all the way. There have been times where you probably have gone through some strife, but it definitely feels like you've had a lot of angels on your side. You've had a lot of protection on your side. You've had that connection to other realms. You've had that connection to your deities, to divine source, to your gods, your goddesses, whatever you like to call it. And it feels like you're coming back home, for sure. So yeah, the hidden wounds you're healing. Let's get into it. But first off, the hidden wounds that you are healing, the childhood wounds, the hidden childhood wounds that you're healing, is one where you're coming back to the self, coming back to who you are, coming back to what makes you feel like you. All right, your first card here from the Dream Decoder is money. Yeah, that feels, you have being chased. Yeah, you have death or dying. Yeah. You have tree, mountains, gardens, and then you also have musical instruments. So yeah, this definitely feels like one in which this is very existential. You're my existential pile. So I'm being shown The Sims right now. So in my head, I'm seeing, if you play The Sims, you'll know that there's a new life and death pack that's been added into its gameplay, and part of the death and life pack is being able to kind of play certain aspects of the human psyche, one of them being the macabre. And with that, it's really looking at being like what the sim wants, what they aspire, what their personality is, what their motivations are, is to be their best self, because they know that their time is limited. They know that the lifespan that they have is futile. There's only so much that one can do within a span of life, and they want to find meaning and purpose and understanding in which why they've come back, why they've reincarnated back. And it definitely feels like this pile is very existential in that way. It feels like you're like, along the way of becoming who you are now, you've kind of lost the sense of why you've come back to earth. And a part of it definitely feels like finances have been a huge factor. Your anxiety when it comes to finance has been a very detrimental factor in your soul's growth and evolution. And it's not to say that it's bad or anything. I definitely feel like you've been doing what you needed to be doing in order to survive, and that's totally understandable. There's no shade, no tea, there's no shame involved when you have to do what you need to do. But I'm just trying to call you back and make you aware of how much money has been overtaking your thoughts, how much money and the survival aspect of staying alive has been keeping you in this state of anxiety and fear, especially with this being chase card. Also, being chased means that you are avoiding something in your life. So maybe you've used money and career as an excuse to not look at your feelings, not look at your connections, not look at yourself in a deeper way. And right now, there is definitely this kind of falling away. This card of death is definitely very positive. This doesn't mean you're dying. This doesn't mean that anyone else is dying around you. It only means that you are transforming. You're transforming in a very significant way. You are shedding the past and you're moving forward. Your inner growth and self-discovery is prompting you into this new phase of life. And like things like completion, like completing something, is a form of dying, you know what I mean? Like when you reach the top of something, for example, like you graduate, that's the death of an old you. Or you move houses, you move apartments, you move living spaces. You change your jobs. These are all ways in which an aspect of you, an old part of you, the past has died, so you can move forward. And it feels like this aspect of you having such a grip on money, feeling like you're avoiding yourself, it feels like that is dying. That was your quest. You started off as someone who put more emphasis on your material wealth and security, which is, again, very natural, very normal. Like having that foundational stability is definitely important, but it feels definitely like you understand that that's not the be and end all for life. It feels like you're understanding that there's so much more to life, especially with this Tree Mountains Gardens. This is a very spiritual, this is a very emotional development in which you are reflecting on how you felt lost and confused in the past. You are finally kind of trusting your intuition and reconnecting to your inner strength and what truly matters to you. You're moving towards clarity and contentment, and you're recognizing that you don't want to kind of live in this victim state of mind. You want to be the change you wish to see. This also indicates a challenge that you've overcome and the reward for persistence in your growth, and like coming back to your natural self, to who you feel comfortable and relaxed and at ease with. When you're by yourself, especially, it feels like you've had a lot of great connections and networking opportunities in the past, but before, you used to kind of have a hard time being alone, hence why you tended to avoid being alone. But now it definitely feels like you're a lot more comfortable with your own space, with who you are. And with this musical instruments here, there's definitely a flow to your inner life, you know? Instruments connect to the soul. Instruments, music connects back to being able to play your own melody, you know? This is definitely one of being able to come back to your creational state and to your more spiritual self. If you look at a lot of music too, you can see a lot of artists connect through a very spiritual lens. They connect to their God, their deities. Like, they connect to a greater sense of purpose. They connect to this this thing we call life, but then they connect to the aspect of that's their legacy that they're leaving behind. And it feels like you're understanding that you want that as well. It feels like you're in the transformational stages of recognizing that you want to leave behind a legacy and be remembered for you, not who people expected you to be. We're gonna get some more cards. What childhood wounds? You have dissolving judgments, yes. You're definitely in a space where you are anchoring the light as well. So you're forgiving your past self. Your childhood wounds that you're healing are forgiving your past self for whatever you went through and not judging it and not making it out to be like a bad phase in your life. You're just recognizing that that part of your life was there. It was meant to be there for you to kind of understand and give you more space to know who you are. Sometimes we don't know who we are, and it's really hard to kind of like figure that out and know what you like. But sometimes it's easier to do that when you do the opposite and you recognize what you don't like. So you might have gone through experiences in which you had to do very uncomfortable, like more unnecessary, uncomfortable moments than what you wanted. And you're recognizing what worked for you and what doesn't, and what you need in order for you to feel like you're living, feel like you're living your story, that you're not like in someone else's story, that you're not just a side character, that you're actually living for you, you know. And sometimes you're recognizing that your comparison to others is just that. It's a comparison. It's the thief of joy, you know. Your story, your life doesn't have to be revolved around what others think is right. It's more on what you want to be right, you know, what you feel like resonates with you more. And not to say one's right or wrong. It's more to say that some things are more well equipped for that thing. For example, you wouldn't cut a orange with a fork, you know. You use the proper tools like either your hands or a knife to kind of peel away an orange. You know, like you wouldn't use a shovel to like stir mac and cheese, you know, like it's just being able to appropriately find the tools necessary for you to live your life in order for you to kind of flourish and thrive. And I think part of that is definitely coming back into this space of anchoring the light. And by light, it is, I used to have a really hard time with this because of different ways in which colorism affects our society. But when we talk about light in the spiritual sense, we just talk about what's known, and we talk about things about like that make you feel a little bit more safer, make you feel a little bit more content and at ease. I guess it depends on the person. Some people are more content in the light, but as you can see with like even my lighting right now for this reading, light isn't always the be all and end all. Sometimes too much light you literally can't see. You know, if I put this epiphyllite onto like close to the camera, you can barely see it. So like it really depends. You need both light and dark in order to understand the world, but it definitely feels like you're anchoring onto something that makes you feel like you're not alone. You're anchoring onto something that makes you feel very much in tune to who you are. Yeah, you're anchoring onto this understanding of the self. That's what the light really means here. You're anchoring onto this knowing that you're doing right by you. Your childhood self definitely wants to come in. So let's get some messages from your childhood self right now. Messages from Pile 1's childhood self. I'm seeing like a child crying and being like proud. You have the 8 of Wands and then the 2 of Cups. It definitely feels like they're really happy that you've taken things a bit slower in life and that you've come to this really loving. Yeah, and we have the Death card again. I think that's fucking crazy. I love that for you so much that we pulled the Death card and the Death card comes again. So this is a huge transformation in regards to how much your childhood self really appreciates the fact that you've gone through this. The 2 of Cups next to the Death card in this reading really symbolizes like your childhood self coming back to you and saying thank you for doing the work. Thank you so much for coming back home, coming back to me, and understanding that your focus, your growth, your potential is so much more than what you were limiting yourself to. You have Temperance in reverse as well. It feels like you are understanding that you don't need to hold yourself back anymore. You don't need to conform to others. With this Temperance in reverse, it definitely feels like this is why you're coming back into your intuition. And this is why intuition is so important, and especially reading the tarot, is Temperance reverse can mean something completely different if not for the circumstances surrounding this spread. Temperance in reverse usually refers to someone not being able to kind of have accountability, kind of have responsibility over things in their life. You know, to be tempered is to be kind of self-aware and acknowledge the self. But in this spread, Temperance in reverse definitely more refers to the fact that you're someone in which you don't need to hold yourself back. You don't need to contain yourself. You don't need to feel like you need to fit in or be tempered. It's something more extraordinary than that. It feels like you're coming back to a space where you can create and you can be inspired and you can live in your truth and you can really bask in this glory that is you. Bask in the glory that is the universe, that is your spiritual purpose, that is your spiritual connection, especially. It feels like you're no longer holding back in regards to your beliefs too. It feels like you might have had people in the past that had kind of skewed your way of thinking, or even societally, it feels like things in your past have stopped you from being you and pursuing the things that you love and really valuing the things that you love, you know? We live in a world where a lot of things, especially a lot more feminine and a lot more youthful things, are demonized. If you look at the culture surrounding pop stars like Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo or Chapel Rowan, you know, you see that a lot of their like personas are more heavily criticized, especially in the spaces of parents who expect them to conform to children audiences in which their music definitely does not relate to, you know. They might have started off as people who had a large audience that was more childlike, but they are grown adults. They're grown female presenting people, and a big part of that is sexuality. And so like they're not holding back in regards to their sexuality. They're not holding back in regards to who they are as a person and what they create and what they want to put out there in the world, because they are being authentically them. And this is how it feels like for you. The childhood hidden wounds that you're healing is that you're really stepping up to the plate of being you, being unapologetically you, and sharing that out into the world, regardless of judgment, regardless of backlash, regardless of your past, especially. This is a really beautiful spiritual space that you've cultivated, and you need to know that your childhood self really just adores you for coming back here, for coming back home, for reconnecting to your soul, your ever-living soul. Yeah. So those are the messages I have for you, pile number 1. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me and listening to this reading. If you like this, please give it a like, comment down below. Subscribe if you want to be a hottie, but you know, you probably already are a hottie, so it's all up to you. Take care, love, and I'm wishing you the best of luck in your practice. Bye. Hi pal 2, if you chose in the green calcite, then this is your reading. So let's start off with just giving you an idea of what green calcite does and how that relates to your healing of your inner childhood wounds. So the green calcite is an amplifier that can clear and activate the heart chakra. It releases emotionally suppressed trauma and allows the heart and soul to express love in action. Has been used to rid the body of infection and is a great stone for studying. Beautiful stone, absolutely gorgeous stone. So let's get into the themes on which you are healing your inner child. How are you healing your inner child? How are my how-tos healing their inner child at this time? You have abundance to begin. You have insecurity next to it. There you go. You also have complacency as well as destiny in regards to your next two. So the themes that we're starting off with, it's one in which you definitely feel kind of stagnant. The story in which I'm seeing is that your wealth is tied to how you feel about yourself. Your wealth, your abundance, what you find success is tied to how confident you're feeling about yourself, how self-assured you're feeling, how worthy you're feeling. And I've definitely been in this position, and I know how hard it is, especially living on a day-to-day basis. I just saw 222 on the clock, so this is a very interesting and I'd like to say balancing and dualistic time for you. Some people in some spiritual circles, they see the number 2 as a unifying number as opposed to as a duality. So take it as it resonates, but overall the feeling of the connection between your security and how that's linked with money especially is being highlighted at this time. If you look at your second house, it's not only the house of self-worth, but it is also the house of money and how you personally obtain money, how you personally go about making your coin, as opposed to the 8th house, which deals with how others give to you. But this spread definitely, it's definitely clear that you're having this kind of interesting dual notion of kind of playing yourself a little bit smaller, and you want to be in line with your destiny. You want to continue to go into this space where you can fully be yourself, but you're having a bit of a hard time because of the day-to-day minutiae that come up. It feels like you have to be complacent to the status quo in which you are going through, and with that complacency comes the suppression of self. With that complacency comes this emotional suppression of not being able to be who you truly are, and that kind of weans and tears down on your insecurity and also how you feel about yourself, your worth, your confidence, and the money you can make because of that. Personally, I've been going through this quite heavily, where tarot has been a very evolving relationship where I feel like it is something I love and have been destined and grateful for having that come into my life. But also it feels like with people who are around me and who didn't really understand what tarot is, I definitely had a sense of negative self-worth and not feeling like I belonged, which was really detrimental to my emotional well-being. And I felt like I had to suppress so much of who I was in order to fit in and survive on a daily basis. And so I'm only saying this information to you in hopes that you can also resonate with that and understand that you're not alone, and understand that this process happens to a lot of people out there, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that life is showing you ways in which you're supposed to move, and sometimes it's not always the most comfortable ride. This feels like you are able to study yourself at this time. But it's, again, when studying or learning a new thing, it's not always peachy keen. It's not always easy. Yeah. So you have car out of control or speeding. Yeah. The car represents your path in life or the direction you're currently taking. An out of control or speeding car suggests you might be veering off track or moving faster than you should. Yeah. So it feels like you're rushing. Definitely feels like there's something about your life that feels out of control. Rushing. You have body parts. Body parts represent aspects of your personal identity, and the clues to their meaning lies in the association you have with a specific body part. Hands suggest details. Arms is your ability to reach others. Legs indicate moving forward. Feet are the foundation. Head is intellect. Blood is life energy. Heart is a relationship. If you're going through an injury right now, it might be symbolizing to you the quality in which is being suppressed at the moment. If you are having dreams of teeth falling out, skin shedding, hair shedding, nails falling out, this is a suggestion to let go and move on from a mindset or a situation that's holding you back. Personally, I've been going through this huge eczema state in which I haven't been able to leave my bed for a while. It was really bad in the summer, and usually when spiritually there's significance to your body going through things. It's not really talked about in the medical field, although there are people who are practicing diviners who help in the medical field. So it's kind of a weird balance. I personally believe that your 4 bodies are connected. Your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual body are all connected. And so if you are seeing something that's happening with your body right now, kind of look at the symbolism into it and know that that's not going to be the cure. You're going to actually have to do real life practical steps in order to cure it. But getting to the deeper spiritual root on maybe why this is occurring can be very helpful for you in regards to understanding the directions you need in life. For example, I know a lot of people suffer with eczema, and eczema is this inflammation, dryness of the skin, right? And if you look at it in a deeper level, and where it's affecting you the most, because personally it affects me on my face the most, so that really deals with a lot of emotions. The facial features deals with how you communicate emotions to others and the body languages you use for that. And I personally have been going through the suppression of my own emotions in order to appease other people, so hence why it's aggravated there and concentrated there. But again, take it as it resonates. Take it as where you feel the most called to, and please go to medical professionals if you are going through serious conditions. Again, you can't heal a broken leg with just meditations. You're going to need to cast it, reset it, go to proper practitioners in order for you to heal it properly. But again, this just might be an indication or a guiding point in which you can see the ways in which your life is being affected and what is disabling you from kind of stepping into your own worth your own potential. Yeah. Falling. Man, you ever have dreams where you like, where you're falling and then you like jerk yourself awake? Oh my gosh, I hate those. But this is another sign that something in your life is out of control. And the key theme of this dream is insecurity. So low self-esteem, too little support, strong urge to escape a challenging situation. Yeah. And last but not least, you have the card demon or monster. We all have our demons. When they appear in dreams, they may represent emotions we've been repressing or hiding. Understanding that this reading, your inner childhood self wants you to know that you need to come to terms with things that are inwardly plaguing or intimidating you. There are emotions in you like anger, fear, anxiety, that have gotten out of control. Insecurity is a huge one that's gotten out of control. And in this day and age where everyone's virtually connected, it is something that has statistically has been proven to see the mental health of a lot of people decline because of that. Yeah. So it's understandable in which why insecurities can happen. Just know that being aware of your insecurity and why they're coming up can help you give yourself the space in which to understand it more and sit with it. If you're having trouble, especially with an insecurity of yours, think about your childhood self. Think about your younger self and think about the ways in which you would talk to a younger version of you. I bet you that you wouldn't be saying all the nasty and critical things to that young self of yours. And, you know, I think there's a part of your childhood self that is just really sad, really upset, really scared, and hurt by the ways in which you've been talking to yourself and talking about yourself. And it is understandable to want to have or be different in the ways in which you aren't now, but a big part of the journey to life is self-acceptance and loving who you are the way you are, and knowing that there are so many qualities of you, and focusing on what works will do more good for you than focusing on what doesn't. And again, like, it's not to say you can't be critical, that you can't put judgment, that you can't have these qualities. It's more of, it's a little bit too excessive in your mind right now. It's a little too much for you to be constantly nitpicking about the way you look, the way you act, the way you present yourself, the way you are in the world. And it's to the point where your inner childhood self is just feels like they're out of control. They feel like they just feel hurt and upset, and they really want you to foster this time with yourself, to care for you and to look at all the parts of yourself and learn how to love that unconditionally. Even if you don't fit what the beauty standards are, you have to know that you're perfect the way you are. Because even people who fit those beauty standards will go through their own insecurities. If you look at a lot of models, a lot of influencers, they are the saddest people out there sometimes because of the ways in which they have to monitor their bodies, monitor how they look, monitor and be subjected to the judgments of other people solely basing their worth off of how they look. So if you are a model or an influencer, you have to have a lot of confidence in order to succeed, because there's going to be a lot of rejections that come your way for not looking the part. And the thing is, there are no one standard of beauty that's out there. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and there are patterns in beauty that happen. For example, we're going through a phase now where thin is in, and so know that literally not even 5 years ago, we're going through the phase of people being more voluptuous, being more shapely, being thicker. So like beauty and norms change over time, always. Through the decades, they change constantly. So not giving into the game of, oh, I need to look a certain way in order to be loved, will do you wonders. Recognizing that you can be loved the way you are, the way that you present yourself, will significantly heal your inner childhood wounds, because your inner child doesn't want to be complacent to what's going on around you right now. Your inner child is really stressing the fact that they feel out of control, they feel very insecure, that they feel very unloved because of these pressures. And again, having inner peace and knowing that you can love yourself the way you are will really significantly improve your mental health. Knowing that you are the only person you really need in regards to listening to yourself, especially, it's going to really help you, especially your inner child right now, because the wounds that wants to be healed is they want to show you abundance, they want to show you your destiny, but there's this huge block, especially in the heart chakra, because your inner childhood wounds, your inner child just wants to be loved for the way they are, no matter how weird, how strange, how messy they are. They just want to be loved and cared for and hugged and held, and know that they're safe being who they are. Whew. Okay, let's get a few cards. You have, of course you do, you have embracing worthiness. I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. I talk about this book a lot, but the book, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk is actually immaculate in looking at the factual evidence of how the body legitimately holds onto stress, holds onto trauma, holds onto the emotions that we have. And unless you physically take the time to understand your emotions, they will just be held in there. Some ways in which you can release this trauma in your body are things like meditation, like yoga, like going to like acting as well, improv, acting. I'm going to even put it in the realm of playing new characters. Like if you play Dungeons and Dragons, or if you play The Sims, or if you play any kind of game that gets you into a new character, exploring that and exploring your needs through that character will be very beneficial in emotionally releasing a lot of the things that have been pent up in you. You also have inspiring others. You also have expanding your inner power and releasing expectations. Only the highest possibilities come to be, whether I envision them or not. These expectations that you have for yourself to be someone is really limiting you on being yourself. I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. Yeah. Expanding your inner power by recognizing that yourself is enough. Yourself is more than enough to be able to be loved by you. And it feels like if you are someone who has a platform, this kind of acknowledgement of you will inspire others. There are so many people out there, because of the world in which we live in today, who are absolutely depressed and anxious and hard on themselves and judgmental of themselves in a way that stops them from being who they are. So going through this, it feels like your destiny is to inspire others through your story of self-love. Your destiny really does involve you recognizing that by healing yourself, you have the opportunity to really heal others. You have the opportunity to be the change in which you want to see. And we're going to get some last cards for your childhood self. You have the Nine of Cups in reverse. Yeah. You have the Three of Swords in reverse. You have the Knight, not the Nine, but the Knight of Cups upright. You have the Five of Swords in reverse, and and you also have the Emperor in reverse. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of swords and there's a lot of cups energy here, and that really is indicative of your mind and your heart, your emotions and your mental faculties not being in sync. They're not really getting along. With this Three of Swords in reverse, this definitely signals that there is an upheaval and clashing of the mind and the heart. The Nine of Cups in reverse also indicates that you're not giving yourself the love that you need. You don't feel fulfilled because you can't give yourself that space in which you need in order for you to heal yourself. But this Knight of Cups being the center of your reading from your inner childhood self is urging you to be like this knight, to be this protector of your emotions, to be the person who stands up for yourself, who stands up and honors your emotional well-being, honors who you are, and loves yourself. You know, knights are famously known to be protectors in the medieval sphere. Knights are people who are there to protect and guide and fight for what's right, fight for their honor, fight for the honor of not only themselves but their larger community at hand. And I feel like that really is indicating how you need to be your own knight. You need to be your own best friend. You need to stick up for yourself, stick up for your beliefs, who you are as a person, and know that you have so much inherent worth and value in a world that's hell-bent on making you feel otherwise. If you need some more pep talk, go to the YouTube page Manifestel. She is amazing in regards to looking at the social lens in which our society operates and how that puts so much pressure on female bodies, especially to present and act a certain way. So if you need some more guidance or if you need more support, that channel has helped me greatly in uncovering my own self-worth. And it's given me a community of people who understand the struggles that comes through. With this 5 of Swords in reverse and the Emperor in reverse, it definitely feels like you can't step into the disciplinary, authoritarian space of who you are right now. But if you work on it, if you work on this self-worth of yours, if you work on the love you give yourself, this Emperor will turn upright, you know? And in good measure and good faith, I'm going to keep this upright as a symbol, as a token for your childhood self to know that you promise to keep yourself in check. You promise to discipline yourself, to consistently be there for yourself in all the ways that you need to. The Emperor is a little bit more authoritarian, but it doesn't mean that it's not nurturing. Yeah, like the Empress is considered the nurturing card, but so can the Emperor. It's just in a different form. It's more of a tough love that you'll see the Emperor come up, because the Emperor will be like, that's enough crying. You need to look at yourself and stop victim blaming, and you really need to look at yourself and be like, no, you're amazing. You're the shit. You did that. Yeah, with this 5 of Swords, again, in reverse, it definitely feels like 5 is always in a number of change, a number of conflict and contention, whereas the Swords is a mental faculty. So it being in reverse signals to me that there's a lack of diplomacy in regards to how you speak to yourself. So again, being nurturing in the fact that even with this Emperor in reverse, knowing that you have to be more nurturing, more soothing, more allowing of your emotions to come forth in a way that you feel respected, in the way that you feel worthy and honored, you know? This is a long reading, but I'm really not here to try to discipline you. Your childhood self wants you to know that they just want to be loved and cared for, and they want to know that being them is okay, being who they are is okay, and that they don't have to fit in a box in order to be loved. That the love that they seek is right within them. The confidence that they need lies within you, lies within your heart space, and how willing you are to really look at yourself and look at the insecurities you have and realize that sure, they're here, but I'm going to love myself anyways, and I'm going to choose to honor myself by knowing that talking to myself badly will not do any good for me. It will actually do the opposite. So giving yourself a little grace, a little words of encouragement, kind of picking out those thoughts whenever you feel like you're nitpicking at yourself, like, oh, I wish I had this body, or I wish my face looked like this, or I wish my hair was like this, I wish my arms were like this. Know that whenever you catch yourself doing that, be like, well, but I do love this part about myself, and I love this part about myself. And sure, this part about myself isn't where I want it to be, but I'm sure if I put in the work, if I give myself the attention and time and care, I could shape it into a way in which I will love myself, you know? Unconditional love can also be wanting to change for the better and seeing yourself in a healthier state. But if you are nitpicking to the point where you're feeling jealousy and envy and you're socially anxious to go outside, then you're not doing it right, girly pop. You just need to give yourself that grace and that space to be like, I am wonderful as I am, but if I wanted to become a little healthier, a little stronger for my own body, and I wanted to take care of my body, that's such a different mentality than, oh, I need to change my body because I don't like how it looks. You see how those two are so different? One's really comes from a place of love. One says, let me hold space for myself and see where I can go and love myself in this way. And one is just negating the existence of the self. So yeah, just know that, again, you are inherently worthy in a society that's hell-bent on trying to tell you otherwise. So know that you have so much love and worth within yourself, and that self-cultivation is paramount for you in regards to healing your childhood self. Take care. I'm sending you so much love, so much hugs, and so much protective energy around you right now at this time for your own well-being. Yeah. Thank you so much, my pal twos, for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye. My pile threes, if you've chosen this green aventurine, then this is your pile. So we're going to get into this stone and what it might represent in regards to this reading of how you're healing your inner child right now. So the green aventurine is the protector of the heart. It provides a shield to block out those who wish to tap in. It helps heal emotional pain, fear, and imbalance by dissolving blocks of the heart. It balances the male and female energies within a relationship. It's a universal love and prosperity stone, and it's an excellent wedding gift. It is a soft, soothing stone for general healing and balancing of all energies. So, right now it feels like, this definitely feels like your inner child is healing a relationship aspect of the self. Even shuffling, there was a lot of relationship energy, but like, let's get into it. So, how are my pile of threes healing their inner child? Yeah, this is actually the card that also came out before shuffling. You have victim. You have passion. Not even surprised. You have gratitude. grief. Okay. So to start off, how is your inner childhood healing itself at this time? I'm hearing Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA right now. It's a great song. But that whole song really talks about how there's this love and this passion between these two people. And one person, SZA's part, continuously says, something along the lines of that, it's the line of, she only doing what she know. And for that, it means the person is only going through the motions in which they know how to operate. They don't see other ways. They're living in survival. They're living in this traumatic abandonment kind of fear. And Kendrick's part is continuously saying, oh, I wish I could show you how I'd give you the world. I would make everyone who's done you wrong, I would put them in front of the face of God to receive their self-acknowledgement and wrath, basically. And so it feels like within this relationship you probably are in right now, because this definitely feels like you're in a very loving relationship right now. It feels like you're having a hard time kind of letting go of a lot of past actions and past people, and past behaviors more, where you had to act out of a more survival state. You had to act more in a way in which you were just going through the emotions. And it feels like, excuse me. Sorry, I just cracked my head there. But it feels like you're in a state now where you're in a safe space. So if you're not in a relationship, then this can you can resonate this to being in a safe space with yourself. But for the majority of you, this is going to highlight the current relationship you are in, and more on the romantic scale. But this can also apply to less of you in the more of the platonic friendship or familial kind of way. But yeah, for the majority of you, this is going to be on the romantic level, in which you are with a partner, and this partner is really giving you the space to understand your past actions, why they happened, and giving you a space to really see how you were kind of put into situations where you were the victim, where you were victimized, where people did do you wrong. And it feels like a lot of your romantic, because the passion's right next to it, it feels like a lot of your romantic partners in the past did not treat you well, did not treat you right. But there was a lot of passion there, so it could have been more toxic in regards to how the relationship went. But the current relationship you're in is giving you the space to grieve and give gratitude to your past. Not only gratitude to your past, but gratitude to the healing space and the safe space that you're currently in. Because what your childhood self wants to come and understand and wants to heal is, oddly enough, the relationships that you have had in the past and the ways in which they didn't know any better. Your childhood self did not know any better. The ways in which you acted might have been from those childhood wounds. And so now that you have this space, this self-awareness, this healing to grow, and give gratitude to your past and thank your past for what has happened and move forward and grieve over it so you can give gratitude to the present, is what is healing right now. So a lot of your relationship aspects are wanting to heal at this time. What childhood wounds? You have superhero powers. That's so interesting that it comes right below the victim card. You also have technology. You have being late. And you also have falling and demon or monster, which is weirdly enough what my pile number 2's had. So anyways, you might be coming from pile number 2, and if you are, hello, how's it going? But if not, let's just get into this section of it. So in terms of the deeper, more subconscious state, because we're pulling from the Dream Decoder deck, we're looking at the card of superhero powers. I feel like as of right now, you're transforming the narratives in your head from being a victim into kind of giving an origin to your superhero story. You know, like all superhero stories, something terrible happens to them in order for them to receive their powers. And so it feels like that's kind of what's happening right now. It feels like you might have been a victim to not only neglect, but very tense and stressed out energies around you when you were a child. It feels like this group has had a lot of familial trauma, and that kind of ended up storing in you and then playing out through different relationships. And it's not until this relationship that you're currently in, either with yourself, with a partner, family, or friend, that you're recognizing how much that took a toll on you. For example, you might be reframing the narrative to recognize that your hypervigilance, your ability to perceive emotions, your ability to be emotionally empathetic and understand the needs of other people comes from a place where you survivally had to be there. Like you had to console and be a nurturing shoulder to cry on for your past family. And you had to develop skills for you to survive. And in one way, yeah, you were the victim because you were a child, because you were so small. It's kind of hard to ask a child to do that for you. You probably had to grow up faster than most people your age. You probably matured better than most people your age. And it's because you went through a lot of strife. You went through a lot of pressure. You went through a lot of pain, but you made it out the other side. And because you made it out the other side, you're realizing how much more in tune you are to things that other people don't have to be. You know, you're in tune to your emotions and other people's emotions and body language and your intuition. It feels like you're deeply connected with your intuition more than most people. And it has come from a place where you felt victimized, but it definitely does feel like how you're healing your inner child is the way in which you're transforming the story, so that it's like you're using the pain you used to have as momentum in self-discovery, self-growth, into your superpowers, into what makes you special, what makes you unique, what makes you you. You know, no one's gonna have the same backstory as you. They can have similar ones, but no one's going to have the same backstory. For example, I'm also thinking of my partner who went through a bunch of insomnia when he was growing up, but now he uses that as a driving force into how much energy he can put into projects and how much energy he can give generously to other people. And he's using that kind of victimization of not being able to sleep into something more in which maybe he's not meant to sleep as much. Maybe he's meant to exert his energy in a greater way, you know? Also, when he couldn't sleep, maybe that was just a factor that he wasn't using his energy where it needed to be. So now that he's putting it into the things that he loves and cares for and has a lot of passion for, he's able to really sleep better now. It's things like that, you know? For example, if you have ADHD, then you're probably more aware and hypervigilant to the things that's going on around you. It really depends on the gender that you identify with, because I know it really varies along the spectrum, but you're probably someone who uses your ADHD as a gift to understand more. If you're not neurodivergent, if you have something that's not neurotypical, you probably have a deeper psyche and understanding into connecting with others and recognizing the ways in which society is just kind of strange. It's kind of weird, you know, like sometimes I find that it's kind of weird that people aren't honest with each other. So like it's, you know, so you're probably someone who can point that out. You can point out the little fallacies that happen in life because you have a larger lens because of what you've gone through. Whew, that's a lot on just these two cards, but I definitely feel like that is such a catapult into you really recognizing how much you are actually healing your inner childhood wounds by reframing and narrating and telling your story in a way which is empowering, and not to romanticize being a victim, but rather recognizing that what you were put through was your opportunity to discover more about yourself and discover the ways in which you operate, and gave you a leg up, not put you down, you know? Okay. So you might have had frustrations with your passion in the past because of this way of thinking, of this victim mentality that kind of made you feel like you were behind, that you were late to something, that you were like a problem, that, you know, it felt like you didn't have as much confidence or self-esteem beforehand, especially with this demon or monster card. It felt like a lot, like right now what you're healing is a lot of your insecurities and the controls in which you have in the relationship, you know? It feels like you are taking the time to really absolve your past, to really make peace with it, to find the gratitude in it. But subconsciously, you're going through a lot, so please be easy on yourself. Please recognize if you're really tired or exhausted, it's because in the background, you're literally letting go of so much. You're letting go of so much excess trauma that has happened to you. You're letting go of a lot of the insecurities that once plagued you. You're letting go of a lot of the out of control experiences that you used to have. And so if you need more rest, please take some. If you need more time to sleep, please take some. Take a nap, you know, because your body is actually releasing a lot of these past things. And it's only because right now you're making way to kind of cleanse the palate, making way for this new you to kind of come in. But before that happens, you're still releasing a lot of this old stuff, you know, a lot of, like, you know, that if you look at like a lot of like psychology, self-healing kind of like shorts or TikToks, a lot of them would put like a cup of dirt or a cup of wine underneath, like in a sink, and then they'll like use the faucet of clear water to like flush out all the wine or the dirt. And you see how long that process takes and how long it really takes to clear up into just water. That's what you're going through right now. You're kind of slowly but surely purifying yourself to a space where you're filling yourself up with water. You're filling yourself up with emotionally healthy ways of releasing and acknowledging yourself, and releasing and understanding that that's not always linear, and it's not always easy to let go of the past stuff. But over time, surely it will be cleared if your intentions are to clear it. Let's look at a couple of ways in which your childhood wounds are healing. You have untangling neglect. I take the time to give myself all the approval I desire. Yes, definitely felt that. Expressing free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Excuse me. Breeding wellness. Ooh. Balance is the key to a life of infinite near miracles. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. It definitely feels like the wounds that your inner child wants you to be aware of, that you are healing at the moment, is this version of neglect. It feels like you are making space for that childhood self to come in. You're making space for that teenage self to even come in, for that young adult self to come in. Your younger you is coming into focus on the things that weren't able to heal in the past, And now with your free will, now with your awareness, you're actually untangling a lot of the things that happen to you in order for you to understand, oh, I act this way now because this happened. Oh, let me acknowledge the fact that I'm not in that space anymore. I'm in a safe space. And then move on and breathe this wellness and put in the practices so that I know that I am safe and that I can express myself differently now. That's a huge thing in regards to how you're healing your inner childhood wounds. Is this untangling? Is this awareness? And then is this new practice that you're putting in? All right, and let's get some more. Okay, no, I'm not done with this yet. So I think I want to focus on this greening wellness part. Your childhood self really wants you to know that you're doing such a great job in giving yourself the space and time to care for yourself, whether that be taking cleansing baths, whether that be meditation time, whether that be you time through going through the gym, through your walks, through yoga, through giving your space to listen to an album and just feel all the feelings of that album. Whatever you're doing now that it's emotionally giving you that comfort, that release, is your wellness, is your state of catharsis, is your relief. And your inner childhood self, your inner younger self, really just wants to give you a hug and say thank you. Thank you for taking this time. Thank you for recognizing and realizing what's happened and all the different insecurities and uncontrollable anxious thoughts that have come about, things that we can't control, and then recognizing and reframing it so that you, whatever is in your control, which is yourself, is something that you can take care of. It feels like you're no longer projecting a lot of the things that happen onto others. You're really taking that in. You're really giving yourself the space and the awareness to sit with it and heal it and love yourself. That's a huge one, just to love yourself. And now let's just get some closing messages from your inner child. Anything that you just want to close the reading off, pile 3, inner child. Oh, thank you. You have the Tower in reverse. You also have the 5 of Pentacles. You have the Knave of Wands in reverse. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna get 3 clarifiers. I feel like I already know, but you have the Knight of Swords. You have the 2 Swords in reverse. And then you also have Strength in reverse. So your inner child wants to give you the message of it just kind of feels like your inner child wants to rest. It just wants to take a nap. It just wants to have some relief, some alone time, some time to heal. With this Tower in reverse clarified by the Knight of Swords, it feels like it wants to, it just wants to stop fighting. It wants to stop fighting the universe. It wants to stop fighting others. It wants to put the swords down and not have to defend or be defensive. It feels like your inner child is this 5 of Pentacles, just wants to rest, just wants some time to really look at the surroundings in which what happened and kind of, even though it's in shambles, it's messy, it's like everything's up in the air, it just wants to sit down and feel it. With this Two of Swords in reverse, it just wants to feel all the pent up, unreleased emotions. It just wants to take the time to sit down and feel all of them so it can be released. With this Knave of Wands, clarified by the Strength in reverse, it definitely feels like, especially sexually, energetically, life purpose wise as well, it just wants to take a break and wants to sit down. It does not have the strength to go out and do a billion things. Your inner child, your younger self, just wants some alone time to heal and to feel. Yeah. So that's the reading I have for you today, my pile threes. Thank you so much for joining me and joining your inner child and taking time to do this heavier shadow work and taking the time to acknowledge your childhood, inner younger self, and give it space to have a conversation with you. I'm sending you so much love and hugs right now, so much peaceful, restful energy so that you can just release all this experiences and emotions that you have and clear it out. Sending you my best. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Hi, Pile 4. If you've chosen this Healerite crystal, then this is your reading. So we're gonna do a description on this Healerite and then see how it applies to how your childhood wounds are healing at this time. So Healerite stimulates on a cellular level. It protects against radiation, cleanses the meridians, encourages all cells and systems to harmonize with one another to bring about a holistic balance. It aids in aligning chakras, particularly the heart and solar plexus. So yeah, at this time you might be getting into more holistic practices, recognizing the wholeness of your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your soul, recognizing how each plays a factor into your whole being and wanting to rebalance and reconnect to the whole of it. So how does this relate to your childhood self? You first have soulmate. Then you have gossip. True. Then you have destiny, completion, instinct. Okay. So in regards to how this relates to your childhood self, it feels like you're coming back into your own by not depending on others, especially those you love. A soulmate here, it feels like you're keeping things with soulmate gossip, especially with those two next to each other. It feels like you're recognizing that you don't need to tell all of your things to the people that you love. It's okay for you to have things for yourself. It feels like, especially, it feels like you've completed something. in regards to the lesson of knowing that some things are great for just your energy. Some things are just you. So you don't have to share your whole story, your whole life based off one person. Like, sure, you might love this person, you might care for this person a lot, and you want to tell them everything that's going on in your life, but it feels like there's someone who likes to talk about you because they love you, and it's not that like they want to be spreading your business everywhere. They just love talking about you. So it feels like you have completed the lesson, or are in the midst of recognizing and realizing that your destiny is your own. Your destiny is your own spiritual practice. It's your own story. You don't have to share it. And you now instinctually are going to be able to know what to share with others and what to keep to yourself. It feels like there's this old part of you that has shed away the codependency that you might have had in your relationships, and you're no longer inviting jealous or envious energies into your space, because you're keeping your things a lot more private. You're keeping your things a lot more to yourself, and you're enjoying that. And we have 444 on the clock, so you are angelically protected, as well as you're giving yourself the protection that you need so that you can continue to move forward with what your life purpose, what your goals in life, your aspirations. You're able to really just kind of lock that in to yourself, and you don't really need to share it with other people that will spread it around. It feels like you're now understanding to keep things to yourself, and understanding that it's okay to trust some people that listen to you, but it's okay to not shout it to the world, kind of deal. So what inner childhood wounds you have feeling trapped? You have sex. You have intruders. You have being lost. Then you have social media. Not surprised. Okay. So with you, my pile number 4s, on a more subconscious level, because this is the more subconscious level, we're using the Dream Decoder deck. What your childhood wounds are healing. Yeah. It's having to deal a lot with anxiety, a lot with performance, and a lot with feeling like you need to be someone that you're not. With this feeling trapped card to start off, it feels like something is holding you back in life, and that could be how you have to perform for others with this sex card and this social media card coming up. It definitely feels like you've had to share a part of your life that you don't really resonate with. It feels like sometimes you've had to do things for the gram, you've had to do things for social media that you don't want to, or don't feel called to, but socially it felt like you're trapped. But it's kind of weird, like you're recognizing that allowing yourself to be seen on such a public level also means losing yourself in that, as well as intruders looking at things that you might feel more insecure about, you might want to keep away from people because some people don't have the best intentions at heart. And subconsciously, it feels like this is really much, it really is mirroring a lot of what you already know. So that's great. That's a great thing to hear. And also great thing to see in the cards, because it means that you are, in one sense, really understanding this on a more surface level. And you're able to kind of apply yourself in a way where you can transform and change and privatize. I think the theme of your reading right now is privatization, of making sure that you feel free in being yourself without having to share with others. It feels like your inner child that's wounded is one where they just don't want to be seen. It's not the time. It's not what it's about. And this is not the fear of being seen. This is not the aspect of, I'm a creative and I'm too scared to put my art out into the world. Okay, there's actually two. It's not all about that. For some, it's going to be about the fear of being seen and using a new platform in which you can share this with people who resonate, not with people who are in your immediate social circle. If you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to put your creations out there in the world, you might want to hide it from a lot of people that you know in real life, so that you don't get those judgments, so that you can feel free and you can kind of dive into this new aspect of yourself without feeling like another person is watching you or judging you. For other people, though, this is going to be the message of, this is not about the fact of you feeling like you're fearful of being seen. It's more the fact that you feel like you're oversharing with a lot of people and you're pulling your energy back in. You need to grieve, let go, and heal before you move forward. Because it feels like you might have lost something, you might have abandoned a part of you in the past. And using social media as like an escape is not the answer. You're really, like, for example, even if you have a profile photo, you're probably going to change it so that it's not your actual face. It's like something else. It's like a scene or like a character. Like, it's not going to be you as an avatar, because it feels like what you're going through right now is this really big upheaval of the self and how others perceive you, and being able to kind of come back into your own without performing for someone. It feels like you're coming into this authentic place of being able to just kind of be you without feeling judged by others. So what are my pile fours healing? Woo. Receiving elation. I am born of infinite joy. Yeah, you're no longer finding your self-worth in how others perceive you. With this receiving elation card covering this spot, being the first card to come up in this part of the spread, it really is talking about not being, like, your worth will no longer be deemed by the people around you. It won't be deemed by your lovers, by your soulmates, your friends, your family. It won't be deemed by the likes you get on a post, on your content. It will be through your own personal satisfaction of what makes you happy, what gives yourself a sense of self-worth without the judgments of other people. Yeah. You also have creating cooperation and more gets accomplished when everyone has a role to play, as well as grounding my energy. It is safe to be in my body. Yeah. 100%. Creating cooperation is that you recognize people are within your life. Oh, one moment. Apologies, my camera just died. So, as I was saying, we just got the cards creating cooperation and grounding my energy. So, it feels like with creating cooperation, you're not like hermiting yourself and you're not isolating yourself so much so, but you are making sure that your boundaries are up. You're making sure that your Instagram page is privatized. You're making sure that people can't see what you're doing so publicly. And you're reaching people that will appreciate what you want to be seen, you know? With this grounding my energy, it is safe to be in my body. You are coming back to yourself. You're coming back to how you feel, and especially of what you think about yourself and how you want yourself to be, how you want to navigate the world. That's how it feels. Like, the inner childhood wounds that are healing is this space of not having to listen to others for feedback, but really trusting yourself, trusting how you feel, trusting your own inner guidance on what it means to be worthy, what it means to have self-confidence, what it means to be proud of the work that you do, proud of who you are, proud of focusing back in on yourself. Let's get some cards from your inner child. What does your inner child want to say to you at this time? You have the Six of Cups in reverse. Yeah, this is not a time for you to be generous for other people. This is definitely a time for you to just kind of stay back. All right, you also have the Two of Swords in reverse, the Hanged Man in reverse, the Empress in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. There's a lot of reversals. Oh, actually, it's not the Hanged Man, it's the Hanged Fae, and I love that about this deck. Absolutely Gorgina deck. So what your inner child wants to come out and tell you is that this is really a time to give yourself the love and care and generosity that you need. It's not about sharing it with others. It's not getting a deeper perspective. This is about self-nurturing. Reversals can mean a lot of things. In my practice, there are different ways to look at reversals. In this specific spread, the reversals definitely are indicating more of a inner self. It's more pointing towards the querent, which would be you, about the problem. So this definitely feels like this is a nurturing of the self with this Empress in reverse. This is the perspective that you need to have on yourself with this Hanged Fae in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse is talking about how you can recognize that sometimes things won't be in your control, but if you can control yourself, if you can control how you react, if you can control what you post, if you can control what you are able to show others, that will be very beneficial into just kind of healing your inner child, because this is all about giving yourself the authority back. This is all about giving yourself the nurturing, the love, the care, the generosity that you've given to others back into yourself, and being able to really recognize that you don't need to share everything with others. You don't need to share your life with others if that's not what you feel called to. If people are nosy, let them be nosy. It's not your responsibility to always let them know what you got going on. Sometimes you just kind of wanted to keep it to yourself until it's fully fleshed out and you can tell them the whole story of it. Sometimes they don't need to be involved in your story, and that's okay. It's not that you don't love them. It's just the fact that you want to keep something for you, and that's okay. And your inner child really wants you to know that it is okay to feel at ease and at home with yourself. You really don't have to share yourself with others, because when you do, you subconsciously feel trapped, and it feels like an intrusion of your own kind of mind, and it feels like you're abandoning yourself for the gratification of other people's approval. So when you're focusing on solely yourself, on solely what you want, you're going to be in a space where you can really fulfill the goals and aspirations and the desires that you want to fulfill. But this is up to you, you know? Usually the Wheel of Fortune is about chance, is about the circumstances in which we can't control. But in reverse, this is really talking about the ways in which you can control yourself. You can control your life. This reading, your inner child really wants to be empowered and say, enough is enough. I'm going to go play in the sandbox by myself because I want to. I'm going to go paint alone because I want to. I'm going to play with my toys and go into my own imaginary worlds because that's what I want to do. And I don't want to share it with other people. I just want to be alone. I want to be with my own energy. I just want to recuperate, regroup, and get back into my own body and feel like myself again. That is what your inner child really wants to relay in terms of the message. It really wants your whole body to recognize how whole you are as just you. And again, it's not to push people away. It's just to put in the boundary so that you're not overextended. That's really what the message is here. Because your energy is precious. Your energy is life-giving. It's life-getting, you know, it's vital. And so keep that sacred energy within and share it only when you feel comfortable. But remember, you don't have to share your whole self if that's not what you want. Yeah, so that's the messages I have for you. My pile number 4 is my Healer Right Hotties. Know that you're doing so fucking great, and that your energy is your own, and you have the responsibility of keeping that with yourself, and also you hold the key to sharing that with others if you feel called to, but you don't have to. It's all up to you. You have control. You have the power here. Yeah. And always do that in a kind, compassionate way, as I know you would. So yeah, that's all the messages I have from your inner child. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your inner child for coming through, for all the piles, inner childs, for coming through today and sharing such beautiful messages of where we're at on our healing journey and what we've completed so far. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you so much love and hugs. Take care. Bye.